November is quickly approaching after that absolute banger of a month that was October with Persona 5 Royal, Nier Automata, Mario plus Rabbids, and more. But November's coming soon. We gotta start looking to the future. There are actually a lot of games I'm excited for coming out in November for the Nintendo Switch, including some ports of third-party games, some very late ports of third-party games, I should say, as well as some current ports and, of course, a huge first-party Nintendo Switch set of games, which, if you know what I'm talking about, you know. So let's go over the Nintendo Switch's November 2022 release lineup, 11 games that I think you should check out. Alright, so going in order, on November 2nd, we have a new Story of Seasons game. Now, these aren't for everyone, and the next game will also kind of go hand in hand with this, but Story of Seasons is just a nice, chill vibe of a farm game. Doraemon is, of course, like this Japanese lovable mascot. We already had Doraemon Story of Seasons on the Nintendo Switch a few years back, like the first game, but now they have a sequel, Doraemon Story of Seasons Friends of the Great Kingdom. I'm not sure what they're doing to this to add more to it. With Story of Seasons, you kind of just, like, go with the flow. They'll add more. I don't know, because a big part of Story of Seasons is like relationship stuff. I don't know if you have relationships with Doraemon. Who knows? But Doraemon Story of Seasons seems to be coming out on November 2nd. It already came out in October in Japan with a demo. So hopefully we'll get a demo on the Nintendo Switch in the US and Europe. But that is certainly one, if you're a big fan of Story of Seasons, to look out for. Then on November 4th, like I said, we have a kind of similar game, but not quite, and that is Harvestella from Square Enix. This is a full $60 game releasing at retail. I'm very excited for this. I am always excited when Square Enix releases new IP, new JRPGs, because for a while there, they just weren't doing that. So to see them kind of embracing it again on the Switch is very nice. Now, Harvestella is, I would say, Rune Factory. It's just Rune Factory. As someone who has not played much Rune Factory, having a farming sim where, you know, you're building your crops and cultivating your farm or whatever, excuse me, and then you have your combats. You go to the dungeons and you fight enemies and all that stuff like a traditional anime-ass JRPG. So Harvestella looks very interesting, and I'm excited to see more. There is a full demo that will carry over progress to the full game, so if you want to check out that, you can do that as well, but I'll probably be covering that game when it does release. Now, also on November 4th is one of those very late ports that I mentioned, but something that should have been on the Switch from day one and just makes so much sense, and that is It Takes Two from EA and the team that made A Way Out, Joseph Fares, can't remember their name, but It Takes Two is actually, well, it won Game of the Year last year at the Game Awards with its PS4 and Xbox One release, and having played it on PS4, I can safely say It Takes Two is one of the best co-op games I've ever played. I'm excited and scared to see how the Switch version runs, but hopefully they did a good job, because It Takes Two deserves to be running at its best on the Nintendo Switch. Now, obviously, the best it possibly can, given the hardware. But It Takes Two is a lot of fun. Hopefully the Switch port is at least competent enough to get you through that. Now, I believe if you buy the game digitally or even physically, I actually get a buddy pass you can give to a friend, so they don't have to buy the game. I know that's how it worked with A Way Out, and I think that's how it worked on the PS4 version, so it should be the same here. So that's really cool. It Takes Two, November 4th, alongside Harvestella. On November 8th, we get a trio of games, the biggest of which being Sonic Frontiers. Oh my goodness, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a huge Sonic fan, but I have to say, Sonic Frontiers, throughout its entire marketing cycle, has just been really interesting to me. And as someone who didn't even play Forces and barely played Mania, I played the Kappa Mania, Sonic Frontiers just looks really fun. I don't care if it doesn't look great, it just looks fun, and I like 3D Sonic enough to the point where it just, you know, mindless fun. I'm not going to sit here and make a 7-hour-long essay about it, but Sonic Frontiers certainly looks to be doing some interesting new things with the Sonic formula. And then we have a duo of old PS5 games coming over. I believe these are also on PS4 to be fair, but Oddworld Soulstorm, if you're a big Oddworld fan, that's finally coming over. I know we have all the other Oddworld games on Switch, so that's nice, as well as Sifu. Sifu is like this kind of kinetic Kung Fu looking game. I've heard very good things. I've heard it's a very hard game, but that's finally coming over to the Switch as well. On November 11th, we have another game from Square Enix. This is a time in the form of a remake. I believe they're basing it on the PSP version of Tactics Ogre. This is Tactics Ogre Reborn, kind of one of the progenitors of the Tactics, you know, gameplay style. Of course, we had Fire Emblem on the Super Famicom, but then Tactics Ogre, which led into Final Fantasy Tactics, which led into Advance Wars, and all these things. So, Tactics Ogre Reborn, cool to finally see the series coming back. Hopefully this does well. They are pricing it at $60. It is getting a physical release. Maybe not the best pricing structure for a PSP remake port kind of thing, but I'm very excited for this. I love tactics games, and this one looks like a lot of fun. Now, on November 15th, I initially included these as a joke, but the more I thought about them, the more I'm actually kind of interested in them. I don't know if I'll be picking them up on release day. Almost certainly not. But these could be fun games to play with like your siblings, or for me with my girlfriend, because she doesn't really play games too much. And this is a duo of licensed games. So first up is Smurfs Kart. Now we already have a lot of like the Nickelodeon kart racers and all that on the Switch. I think there's a Cartoon Network one. So Smurfs Kart maybe not as exciting as the other one. And that other one is Garfield Lasagna Party. Now this is just straight up a Mario Party clone. There's not a ton of those with any real budget behind them. Obviously, these are typically very low budget games, but having a Garfield Mario Party clone kind of seems fun. I think this was just announced a few weeks ago too, so obviously with these, go in with very low expectations and maybe you'll come out surprised. And you know, if you can get these on sale for 10 or 15 bucks, you know, that could also be a nice little cop. Not for full price, but I like licensed games. I like knowing they exist. Do I play them? Very rarely, but I like knowing they're coming. And then we have a few final games here. November 18th, of course, the big dog, the game of the month, of course, is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I actually just posted a new video a couple days back doing kind of a hype check for that game, because I feel like the marketing cycle for Pokemon Scarlet has been weird, where people are excited, but not a lot of people seem to be really talking about it outside of like the hardcore Pokemon community. And I'm very excited, though. Like that, I haven't really been keeping up with every little bit of information on this game. I didn't watch the previews really. So marketing's been a little weird, but Scarlet and Violet, no doubt, is going to be the biggest game of the month. It is going to outsell everything else that even comes, you know, even releases near it. And it's just it's very exciting always having a new generation of Pokemon. I have the double pack pre-ordered at GameStop, so I'll be playing that game, making content for you all on it, of course, just because I want to play it anyway. So yeah, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, certainly the biggest release of the month, I would say, next to Sonic Frontiers. Now, finally, this game does not have a release date. I am planning on covering it when it does eventually release. It was meant to release in October, and I feel like this could be a pretty big deal on the Switch. I know, once again, a very late port, but that is Ark Ultimate Survivor Edition. Now, if you don't know the history with Ark on the Switch, they released it back, I believe, in 2018 or 2019, and it is one of the worst ports of all time. It is so atrociously bad that, honestly, I'm surprised it's even still in the eShop. It is that bad. But Wildcard Studio has kind of partnered with another developer to re-port it completely. They're starting from scratch with a new developer to re-port this game and do it right. And I know Ark is definitely I don't even want to say cult hit, because it is very popular, but it definitely has a set fan base and followers that want to keep playing Ark. And having Ark on the go in a stable state, you know, maybe a consistent 30 at least, maybe some decent models, that's exciting. I'm excited to check this out. I will be doing a video on it, so hopefully they get that release lined out, because it was supposed to come out in September, then it got delayed to October, and now it's early November is the current word on Ark Ultimate Survivor Edition. So with that said, that is everything I have on my list for November 2022 releases on the Nintendo Switch. That is everything that I deemed worthy of this video. Although I am human, maybe I just missed something. If I missed one of your favorite Switch games coming out in November of 2022, let me know down in the comments below. It's hard to cover a lot of indie stuff. It's hard to cover every single third-party game. There are also the cloud versions of Dying Light 2, as well as Resident Evil 2 and 3 Remake. If you like cloud, I'm sorry, but you know, those are also coming if you want to play those. And yeah, of course, just let me know if I missed something coming out in November of 2022. If that is major, post it down in the comments below, correct my mistake. And of course, let me know what from this list you are most excited to buy. For me, it's definitely Pokemon and then Sonic after that. But almost all these games I have at least a faint interest in. So with that said, thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch news and coverage. I'll be doing this again next month for December. And you can follow me on Twitter at BookTalksMedia. You can join my Discord. That is linked down in the description. And until next time, folks, peace.